The Daytona International Speedway at the World Center of Racing, it's known, set to bring you today the EAS GNC Live Well 300 season opening race for the NASCAR Busch Series, starting now, some 2 hours delayed by rain. Field of cars rolling off onto the speedway to begin their parade and pace laps. Why don't we take a look at our Castrol Syntex starting lineup. Joe Nemechek is on the pole for the second straight year here at Daytona. The 98 race winner alongside David Green. New start for him, he's with Tommy Baldwin Racing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. makes a return to the Busch Series with the defending race champion Randy LaJoie in row 2.
On the inside of row 3, Jeff Fuller. This is another Nemechek car. On the outside, Stacy Compton making his first Daytona Busch start. On the inside of row 4, Johnny Sauter won one of 5 bestest rookie challenges in 2002. Hank Parker Jr. in a Dodge on the outside.
Ricky Hendrick comes to Daytona in the Busch Series this year. He finished second in the truck race last year at this track. Jeff Green, former champion, with him in row 5. In the 6th row, it's Jeff Purvis. New ride for him this year. He's in the 37 car. Matt Kenseth, one of a half-dozen drivers that will have to go to the back because of an engine change.
On the inside of row 7, in his very first NASCAR Busch Series start, Shane Neal. On the outside, Chad Little in a Chevrolet. Inside of row 8, Jason Keller finished second last year in the points, and Jack Sprague on the outside, the truck champion from the now in the Busch Series.
Michael Waltrip, Daytona 500 defending champion in row 9 with Bobby Hamilton Jr. 10th row, it's Mike McLaughlin in Joe Gibbs' car. And Scott Briggs taking over the car Jeff Green used to drive. That's a backup car. He'll go to the end of the field.
On the inside of row 11, Jamie McMurray finished 11th here in his first Busch race at Daytona. Jimmy Spencer, one of the favorites on the outside of row 11. On the inside of row 12, Greg Biffle. Last year, 5 victories. Lyndon Amick, a new ride this year on the outside.
Christian Elder has won a NASCAR Dash Series race here before. He's in row 13 along with Tony Raines. It's Kerry Earnhardt, whom we talked with just a moment ago, sharing row 14 with Kenny Wallace, who finished 8th in this race a year ago.
On the inside of row 15, Scott Wimmer finished second last year in the Rookie of the Year. Tim Sauter on the outside. Row 16 on the inside, Andy Houston driving the car vacated by Jimmy Johnson and Stedman Marlin, his 10th Busch Series start.
Kelly Denton makes his 3rd Daytona start from row 17 along with Jeff Fultz from the NASCAR All-Pro Series. 18th row, it's Kevin LePage, unsponsored, no Winston Cup ride. This is it for him today along with Larry Foyt.
On the inside of row 19 is Casey Mears, his 2nd NASCAR Busch Series start. Ashton Lewis with new sponsorship on the outside. On the inside of row 20, Shane Hall and Andy Kirby on the outside.
And the rest of the starting field, Kirk Shelmerdine and Chad Chaffin. In the 21st row, rounding out the grid, Jeff Spraker from Schenectady, New York, in a Chevrolet. Failed to qualify. Big surprise, that first name.
Mike Wallace had run very well in practice, but could not get the top speed in qualifying. Had to go back home. The car had to go home.
Kind of felt sorry for Weber sitting down there in the rain by himself, but he's got company now. How about it, Bill?
And well, we're looking forward to it now, Alan. Tony, every one of these 120 laps is important, but how critical are the first few laps?
Well, I think to get a really good start and just to get off to a nice clean start is the biggest thing. Just get out, find out what the balance of your car is, get settled in, try to find some veterans that know how to get to the front in this race, and I think they'll be just fine.
Okay, the NASCAR Busch Series season is about to begin. We waited 2 hours for them to roll off of pit road, but now they're on the track and ready to take the green flag. One thing you're going to have to watch out for is some of that water on pit road. Joe Nemechek leads 43 cars to the green flag at Daytona when we come back.
Back at Daytona, continuing on the parade and pace laps before the green flag in today's EAS GNC Live Well 300 for the NASCAR Busch Series. Here is our TNT Pit Pass. Going to check out the story on pit road and what's going to be key during the day. Bill?
Thanks, Alan. Throughout the day, we're going to watch the cars come down pit road. Now, Wally, some guys have good pit stalls and some guys maybe not so good. How's this going to work out?
Well, Bill, if I was Joe Nemechek in the 87, I have the best pit stall because I have an opening getting in and I have an opening get out. So nobody can get in my way when I come in and out of the pit. Now, up here where you see the 47 car and the 10 car, that's Shane Meal and Scott Riggs. These two guys are rookies. So it's going to be real interesting to see if these guys pit together, if they're going to be able to get in, because they're not really used to pitting these type of cars. And you got right in front of them, I believe you got Kenny Wallace. So Kenny Wallace is hoping that these guys get in their pits cleanly so he can get in his pit cleanly and out as well.
Okay, we'll watch our TNT Pit Pass all afternoon, and you can log on to NASCAR.com, and after the pit stops, fire us some questions about what you've seen, and we'll answer your questions as we go along throughout the race after the pit stops this afternoon. So Tony and I will be down here watching, and we're excited. Let's take you back to pit road and Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, it's been an interesting week for rookie Scott Riggs. On Wednesday, he almost wrecked qualifying. It was pouring down rain. He came across the start-finish line literally sideways. Then on Friday, he had a wreck in practice, and they had to go to the backup car. It has been a tough week for these guys. I asked him if all of this problems made him nervous. He said, no, I'm more frustrated because we have not been able to get into a good rhythm. And in the middle of all that, he had to get some drafting experience because he doesn't have very much of that. But he said, you know what? I may not be very experienced, but the team is. And I think the team is good enough and the car is good enough for us to run up front today. Today, Burns.
Marty, in the year 2000, Greg Biffle was the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. In 2001, he followed that up with a great rookie year here in the Busch Series. But last year as well, success here at Daytona eluded him. I asked him today what it would mean to win here. He said it would be fantastic. One, it is Daytona. But secondly, he feels like he's an underdog. He can't lead the pack, but he might be able to get ahead at the end and keep others behind him. Matt?
Dave, two-time series champion Randy LaJoie returns to Daytona with a huge agenda. First, he wants to keep away that dreaded sophomore jinx for his second-year team. Secondly, he wants to back up his win in this event 1 year ago with another. Unlike last year, LaJoie's in a Chevrolet, not that potent Pontiac like his teammate Joe Nemechek. But the biggest thing he told me, he wants to get a huge bounce of momentum from Daytona to make another title run, searching for his third series title. Alan?
Okay, Matt, thanks a lot. Now we heard about the trouble that Scott Riggs had earlier here in the week. And obviously, Tony, you never want to lose a car, but man, it can hurt when you do.
Ooh, nice and close. Just close quarters there, and it doesn't take much of a tap here to get these cars bent into shape, especially at the speed that we're running. And with the slow steering racks that we have, once that car moves abruptly like that, it's really hard to get your hands to move as fast as the car moves. So it's easy to get behind the steering wheel, and the next thing you know, it's kind of the Kmart special. It's one move, and then the next move, you get 2 for 1.
All about experience, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, they're taking an extra pace lap here to get the cars warmed up, help dry the track, and dry pit road. Back to Daytona in a moment.